Hello everybody, Big Points here. Now before I dive too deep into this video on the Emirates A380, I would like to give a shout out to my patrons over on Patreon. We've had a bit of a video drought here over the last few weeks, so I apologize to all those people on Patreon who signed up and are expecting to get shout outs. So yeah, thank you to everybody on Patreon. You guys really mean a lot to me, and you are one of the main reasons why I'm actually able to build these planes. So yeah, if that's something you're interested in doing, I will leave a link to my Patreon in the description below where you can see sort of behind the scenes stuff, and of course I give you a shout out at the beginning of the video. So it's been a little while since I've done a video on the A380, and I know a lot of you are getting very impatient on it. I know, sorry about that, but this thing, I've made an enormous amount of progress on it, and I have a lot to share with you. So first things first is most of the wing, if not pretty much all of the wing, is done. Obviously, I still need to blend the wing tips a little bit out here. I need to get the shark fin winglets on the tips, and I still need to tweak a few things with the wing here and there, and obviously get a lot of the stuff on the bottom. But the wings themselves are pretty much done. So it's going to be really hard to show it all in one frame because it's absolutely huge. But first thing I want to get out of the way is this side is, I have not calibrated the spoilers yet on this side. So you can see that on this side, they're all pretty much up at the same angle, whereas this side, that one's sort of flat. It's because I still need to adjust the strings on that one a little bit. So that's what's going on there. But this side right here has been pretty much completed. I've calibrated everything, the flaps and everything works. You can see that they're all extended pretty much how they should be. And I'm not going to show these to you right now. I'm going to show them to you in the final video on this plane because I want to sort of leave it as a surprise. But I will tell you that they do work pretty well. They seem to be pretty reliable, and yeah, they work pretty well. I'll show you from the underside kind of what it looks like. And I finally figured out a flap track. I had to actually put a rubber band in it because in order to be able to retract back this way, it needed to have something pulling on it. But you can see this is what the bottom of the wing looks like. I haven't connected any of these thingamabobbies yet. This one goes to the lights, these go to the engines, but you can see the engine pylons will go there and here, and you can see the wing is just huge underneath. There's a lot of ground clearance. It's just massive, and that's the thing with it. I know one thing I was worried about was that the dihedral would actually be too much, like it would shoot too high up, and even though it does go pretty high up, as you can see, it might be a little higher than it should. Once I attach the engines, and once I attach all the accessories that go on the bottom of the wings, I'm fairly confident that these will sag down a little bit more. As of right now, this wing box is very sturdy. It's not doing really sagging at all. I don't hear any cracking, which is fantastic. But the next step is going to be attaching the engine. So obviously I need to design the engines, and once I design the engines, I will build them onto pylons and I will attach those onto the wings. This is a quad jet, obviously, and it has very, very large engines. So that's going to be definitely a bit of a task. It's going to be harder than on this one because these are much smaller engines, as you can clearly see, and it's a much smaller wing. But yeah, that's what's going on there, and hopefully once I get those engines on and once I sort of finish up the last finishing touches on these wings, I can start moving my way towards the fuselage. And once I get started on the fuselage, what I'm probably going to do is work my way forward onto the nose. Sorry, you can't even see. I'm going to work my way forward down, get the nose, try to get it on its landing gear, and then I will start building up the nose and sculpting back onto the fuselage. So the next video, which I hope to be in about a week because my parts are taking a long time to show up, the next video on this plane is going to be on the engines for sure, and probably the wing tips as well, but mostly the engines, and the flaps will be fully functional by then, but it doesn't really make a difference. So yeah, that's what I have generally going on here. I have taken the panel off of the bottom of this so I can actually get to the battery pack. You can see that when I turn it on, the lights in the front come on. Again, that's just another small feature I added that is on this plane that is not going to be on Air Force One. And yeah, so that's this video. It's mostly just about the wing. And like I said, this wing is 7 feet wide. It's absolutely massive. It's the largest thing I've ever done. I can barely even get it in frame. You can see it dwarfs the 747, and it even dwarfs the B-36, which has a 6-foot wingspan. This thing is just huge. And once I get those massive engines mounted onto it, it's just going to be even bigger. So you can see how ridiculous it looks next, like a 737 too. It's just massive. But I am happy to report that the flaps and spoilers do work. They are mechanized properly and they work. I mean, what I had to do is I had to sort of integrate the flaps in so it kind of supports the thing from sagging, which is good. And I also had to very delicately work with these strings, because the way this works is these strings here pull the flap, or the spoiler back, which is what sort of gives it the ability to pop up. And what happens is when it goes back out, the linear actuators release the tension on the strings, and these spoilers will fall back onto the flap, and the entire unit will then retract into the wing. So that's the idea, at least. It seems to be working pretty well, and like I said, I will show that to you in the final video. I don't want to tease you any more with that. If we look underneath the model, you can see that it is actually holding up very well on its own landing gear. You can see there's the strobe light on there down here. You can see it's holding up very well on its own landing gear. I haven't heard any problems with the landing gear. They seem to be pretty sturdy, as you can see. This is a triple bogey in the back, so it can support a little bit more weight than Air Force One. But yeah, I haven't had any problems so far with structure on this thing, which is really important, because if I have a problem with structure, it's very difficult to fix. Whereas if it's cosmetic, I can just sort of try to work around it, if you will. So yeah, this update video is mostly just about me showing you that I've pretty much completed the wing. This has taken a very long time. It's a very, very complex wing structure, much more complex than Air Force One or really anything else for that matter. So yeah, that's pretty much what this video is about. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Again, look forward over the next week or so to the videos on the engines, because that's what I'm hoping I can do next. So yeah, that's all I really have for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Again, thank you to all my patrons over on Patreon who helps us support the channel. That really means a lot to me. I mean, I know I haven't been making as many videos recently. There are a few different factors and reasons for that, but I'm going to start getting them back up and rolling, and the next thing we're going to do is the engines. So expect that out very, very soon. That's all I really have for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you again very soon. That's all I have for this one. Bye for now.